Lumberjacks is sponsored by Echo, only professional grade with 5-year warranty. Crown, protect, maintain, save. K100, for all your gas-powered equipment, make water burn. Yamaha, rev your heart.
Symbolizing how large the forest industry is in the province of New Brunswick, we're here in front of the world's largest axe in the little town of Nakawik, just outside the city of Fredericton. And we're here for the 3rd annual Eastern Canadian Lumberjack Championships, which is being hosted actually by the New Brunswick Exhibition, now in its 187th year. We're here for the exciting conclusion of the competition, and we got a great leaderboard. Hi, I'm Bill Debo with my co-host Rod Cumberland. And Rod, we got a great start to the competition. This week we're covering the hot saw, the water boil, and the standing block chop.
Standing block chop is going to be exciting to watch because Big Matt Galambos from Southern Maine's come up. He's the size of a brick. He's just a big dude. He's tall around, and he loves to do standing block chops. He's going to be taking on Mario Bork, Don Lambert, and all the good guys in Eastern Canada.
Now, in the water boil, it's quite a spectacle. This event is actually indoors. We're going to have a bunch of people lined up at once, building a fire.
Yeah, it's going to be really exciting. 15 competitors all at once. They're given a block of cedar. It'll all be done in under 3 minutes, and it's going to look like the whole place is on fire. But the guy that gets the water up over the top of the can first is going to be the winner.
Well, we're headed into the home stretch here, and the overall standings got a leaderboard chock full of competitors that are trying to track down Marcel Dupuis from Memramcook, New Brunswick. Right now, he's got a point total of 300 points. Mario Bork is the best shot of catching him with only 50 points behind. Just after the competitors all got introduced, we got started with the standing block chop. In total, we had 12 competitors in the standing block chop. We're going to be showing you the top 4 heats. And our first heat is a classic matchup. We've had it a couple of times already in this competition. We got Jeff Larkin taking on Scott Reed from Nova Scotia.
Well, Scott Reed is really best at the sawing events, but as far as the axe events go, standing block chop is the one he likes the best. Jeff Larkin, good at almost all the events. We're actually chopping an 11-inch round of aspen wood here at the Freck, so we should have a good race here between Scott and Jeff.
Well, right now we got 2 guys from Nova Scotia. A little bit later on, we have a guy from the United States. All the other guys are from New Brunswick and Quebec. Right now we got a couple of guys, but Jeff Larkin actually a little bit sloppy on his front side. Scott Reed makes his turn just after Jeff.
Scott Reed actually opened up to a knot. He actually probably turned a little bit early just to avoid that knot. Jeff Larkin actually turned a little bit early. He pulled the pin early on the front side. It's going to actually cost him here as he tries to drive things off in the back.
He's a little bit low in the back there as he's trying to drive things off, so he's going to have a hard time. It's going to cost a lot of time. He punched out that big knot, and Jeff Larkin just edges out Reed with a time of 28.8 in the first heat of the standing block chop. So I counted 9 on the front, and Scott took 12 on the front. So you had a 3-stroke advantage to him going into the backside, but I bet you weren't too happy with your backside, right?
No, I missed a few hits, and it just wasn't my best.
Yeah, it was a little bit lower than you wanted, and you ended up wooding yourself with the top popping off, right?
Yeah, it actually snapped the stick right down the middle, so it wasn't a very, not a very good back.
And that allows Scott to get back in the race, so it was a really good finish, but you had a big advantage going over to the backside, and Scott back in it, but how do you feel about that?
That's good for TV, but not so good for me, anyway.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
I'm Mario Bork from St. Paul, New Brunswick, and I work for Corrections Service Canada.
My name is Matt Galambos. I'm from Whitefield, Maine, and I am an arborist and a webmaster.
Well, if you're watching last week in Lumberjack TV series at the NBX, you saw Galambos taking on Bork in the underhand chop. Now it's a standing block chop. A couple of different contrasting styles. We got the power of Galambos taking on the finesse of Mario Bork.
Boys, I don't think it's going to matter. Look at the difference in these blocks. Mark Galambos' block is pretty solid. Mario Bork's block is falling right apart from his axe. He's eating alive. They turn together, though. It's head-to-head right now.
They're trying to take down a time of 28.85 set by Jeff Larkin in the last heat. Big chunk of wood come off there by Mario Bork. Galambos trying to drive things off. He takes a couple more uppercuts. Mario's driving things off, and Mario Bork just edges out Galambos with a 26.02 and lowers the time to beat in the standing block. You had a pretty wide front there, and you did a lot of your work in your front with not too much left in the back, and gave you a good advantage to go to the back, didn't it?
Yeah, I made sure to cut a safe front, go as far as I could in the front of that log to make sure that it would come off easy on the back. So it went pretty good. It was a good piece of wood.
Now you're able to see a couple of competitors go before you. Are you watching to see how the wood is cutting?
You watch a little bit, but I don't know. There's a lot of good choppers here, and I try to chop my block because there's no point racing anybody else but yourself because it all depends on the block you draw. So I chopped it as good as I could, so I was pretty good.
Thanks, Merrill.
Thanks, Bill.
Well, we got 2 heats in the books with 2 more quality heats of choppers coming right up. Mario Bourque is leading the way with a 26.02. Oh, another Labor Day weekend at the NBX in Fredericton, New Brunswick. Just before the show got started, I had a chance to talk to the executive director of the NBX, Mike Folke. Mike, I mentioned earlier at the top of the show, 187 years for what is formerly known as the Frex. Just tell me about the name change, how that evolved.
Yeah, what we've done is, it's been known as the Frex for the last 3-4 decades, and it's an acronym that's really been well known for us with the agriculture side of it, and very big in the Fredericton exhibition. What we've done is we've grown. We've added things like the Lumberjack Championship 2 years ago. This year we've increased our entertainment. We've got Jeff Cook with Alabama. We've added jousting. We've grown to become the provincial exhibition, and we've kind of evolved into something bigger and better.
Now, it's an annual thing, obviously, and it's Labor Day weekend. Do you see it as a kickoff to the fall, or do you see it at the end of the summer, or do you see the combination of both for the community?
Yeah, it really is a combination of both. It's definitely a celebration, and you have that celebration feel for it. And it's just kind of leading up to harvest. So if you go back to the roots, it was kind of a celebration, ending summer, leading into the harvest season. But it's definitely the sign that summer's over. We look forward for a good fall. And of course, the New Brunswick falls are wonderful. Beautiful fall weather. So it is a celebration leading into hopefully a nice, warm, long fall.
Well, just before the break, we had 2 quality heats in the standing block chop with 4 great cutters. Now we have 2 more heats, heats 3 and 4, 4 more choppers, and we have the time to beat of 26.02 set by Mario Bourque. This next heat, Nathan Cumberland taking on Donald Lambert.
Yeah, and usually the competitors, you have to worry about one guy. We used to always have to worry about Marcel Dupuis being at the top of his game. Now there's double trouble with these 2 Cumberland boys. Both of them love the chops, and they're tough to beat. So Don Lambert here with his hands full with young Nate Cumberland.
Well, we first saw Nate Cumberland back at St. Stephen a few years ago on Lumberjack TV series. Come a long way, growing about 3 feet, put on about an extra 150 pounds, and he's hitting the wood hard.
And look at that, he's already on to his second side. Don Lambert just butchering the first side of his block. Very uncharacteristic Don Lambert as Nate gets ready to drive it off here. And there it is, Nate Cumberland, 18.6, drops a time to beat by almost 10 seconds.
Now, going into that, are you thinking 8 and 8? Because you were actually 8 and 9. Are you thinking 8 and 8 going into that?
I knew 8 in the front. I thought maybe 10, but I figured 8 would get me there.
And your drivers were right on the money there. And when you're eating it up in the backside there, you're hoping to maybe, well, obviously try and go 8, but you end up going 9.
I wasn't sure what the back would take. I knew as long as I got it there close, I'd be there. So.
Thanks, Nate.
You're welcome.
My name is Marcel Dupuis from Memramcook, New Brunswick, and I'm a firefighter for the city of Moncton.
I'm Ben Cumberland. I'm from Keswick Ridge, New Brunswick, and I'm applying to be an RCMP officer.
Great job there by Nate Cumberland, pride of Keswick Ridge of New Brunswick, just outside the city of Fredericton. Now here comes his older brother, Ben Cumberland, trying to take down that time of 1862.
And actually, Ben he's a real technician when it comes to the chop. You see he swings fast. His lines are perfect, though. Marcel Dupuis doing a great job here, but Ben's getting in. He's putting the drivers in. They turn together. We got a great race here.
Oh, and a great big glancing blow there by Marcel on his uppercut. Ben's taking 1 more round to hit, and he's ready to drive things off. Ben Cumberland drives things off and wins the standing block chop with a 17.76. Marcel coming in with 19.5.
Well, great job there by both Cumberland boys. They take down Marcel Dupuis, who's been at the top of this game for the last several years.
So just tell me about that. I mean, the time to beat is your younger brother's time to beat. Mike, I mean, you got a friendly rivalry, but gives you a little bit of incentive, right?
Yeah, a bit. I mean, I haven't been able to beat him all summer, so I just wanted to chop it right. And I mean, I stepped a couple times and missed my lines on the back, but I mean, it's as good a chop as I can ask for.
I mean, you say you missed your lines in the back, but you're only 8 strokes in the back, which it's hard to do it in any less strokes.
Yeah, I mean, thank the Lord my axe was chopping it, so it's just, I don't know what to say about that chop, really.
Well, you're moving the wood really nicely. I mean, your axe was chopping it. That's part of the game, too, right? You have to have the right axe for the right wood. The pieces have got to come apart.
Mm-hmm, yep, yeah, it was really freeing it. On the front side, I kind of sunk it a bit too far on the first hit, so it got stuck a little bit, but good chop, I guess.
Thanks, Nathan. Or thanks, Ben.
No problem. You're welcome.
Well, not too hard to confuse the two of those guys when they get their axes out and start swinging them, but I better get it right here in the standing block chop because Ben finally beats Nathan this summer, and he does it with a time of 17.76.
Closed captioning is brought to you by PartyPoker.net. The game is changing. Qualify your way to the World Poker Tour today at PartyPoker.net.
We are here for the 3rd annual Eastern Canadian Lumberjack Championships, whittling our way down to the last couple of events. We are now headed into the water boil. Rod, I know you love this event. You got your 2 kids in this event as well. Just go over some of the rules here. I know they got some soapy water in a can. What else they have?
Soapy water in a can, and of course that helps it because when the water boils, you can actually see the soap come up over the top of the can. They get a nice dry block of cedar, sharp axe, 5 matches, and of course they have to start a fire from scratch. Here you see Paul Woodland actually getting his shavings and starting to get them lighted. You light your shavings, get a lot of shavings underneath, and you got to basically build a fire up, set the kettle on top of it. You have to make some kind of a structure or framework that the kettle can sit on while it's all boiling. And of course, the fastest guy to get it done and boil the water over the top of the can is a winner.
Now, I saw a couple of people striking their matches on the heads of their axes. I saw a couple people have little rocks there, like right there. Donald Lambert's got a little rock. He was likely striking his match on the rock. Nathan Cumberland here, he's looking to see if he's got any smoke or fire under there. And Scott Reed looks like he's got a big flame going.
Scott Reed, of course, this is one of his signature events. He loves a kettle boil event. Paul Woodland got another good fire going here. The big thing is to get your kettle over the fire as soon as you can. There you see a can going on by Scott Reed, so he usually will have a little bit of an advantage at getting that kettle on early.
You know, if you look around the room here, you can see a lot of flames, but you see a lot of cans sitting over there in the sand, not quite on the fire as well. We're waiting for Marcel Dupuis to put his can on so he can get a little bit of heat to it. He's going to build a little bit of a platform with some small sticks on there, and he's going to build from there.
It's interesting to watch this from afar because usually I'm in kettle boil and I don't get to watch how these guys are building it. Very unorthodox build by Ben. Usually use 2 big solid sticks at the bottom, like Paul's putting down here. Now they're actually quite small even for a base, but usually you want 2 big base sticks that bring your kettle up quite a ways right there. Actually, Marcel finally does have some big sticks in there, bring this kettle up a long ways because you got to be able to get a lot of flame and a lot of wood underneath the kettle so it keeps that heat throughout the duration of the boil.
Now you got a couple of Americans in this heat, including Vince Maciel and Craig Morris, who we just saw right there. They don't typically do it very much down in the States, so they're a little bit of a disadvantage. A lot of the people here in Canada on a regular basis, especially in New Brunswick, do this on a regular basis. You can see our firemen here from Memramcook, New Brunswick, who certainly should know how a fire works and what it's going to take to make the fire hotter and burn faster.
Well, in his defense, he's usually trying to put fires out, but here in the kettle boil, he's trying to create one. Here's Joe Bro getting his going. You see him trying to slide some stuff underneath to keep all that heat and energy and wood underneath the kettle. Once you get her going, you got to make sure you keep a lot of heat in and around the can, so as they build this up and they start putting these, build like a log cabin around the side of the kettle, then they want to actually try to contain that heat. So they actually usually cut slabs and then lay the slabs in along the side of the kettle to keep that heat contained around the side of the can.
Now, as you look around the room again, before we were looking at Jeff Larkin, we saw Ben Cumberland. There's Ben right there. He's got a big fire going, a lot of fire escaping right now. He's probably going to take some nice big flat pieces and try and close in that heat a little bit so it doesn't escape, and he's escaping.
He's taking too much time here hamming it up with the crowd. He and Nathan, of course, are the hometown favorites here in Fredericton, so they're having a lot of fun here with the people out in the audience cheering them on. But it's kettle boil time. He's got to get down to business here. He's got actually a great flame going. As is Nathan. They're doing a great job here.
Well, they're way ahead at this point, the Cumberland boys are. Ben looks like he's challenging his brother here for the lead. They're waiting for the water to boil over. A massive fire for Nathan Cumberland. They're going to be calling the fire department on him.
When he gets to this stage, actually, sometimes it's better just to let it burn. A lot of guys like to get in and start blowing on it. When you have that much flame in there, sometimes it's better just to sit back and let her go.
Well, we passed the 3-minute mark at this point. Things should be boiling over very, very quickly. Ben Cumberland looking at his water. He can't do much else at this point. And Ben Cumberland takes down a real impressive field of water boilers with a time of 3:28.5, just edging out by 12 seconds over Nathan Cumberland and Charlie McPhee.
Still my eyebrows?
So your dad, Rod, who obviously is very proud of you to be a good fire builder or kettle boiler, you know, he's probably taught you a lot of things. You don't have to reveal too many in-depth secrets. This can be a basic strategy for success in that event.
The biggest thing is to get your can on the fire, get a lot of heat as fast as you can to it so that the water is heating up quicker. I use rocks underneath to keep the heat from going into the ground and away from the can. Some competitors will just build on the ground. I mean, I don't know, I haven't noticed a real big difference, but that's just one of the things I do.
What about, and I've done it a few times over the years as well, making sure the sides of the cans are warm, because you want heat underneath, of course, but if the sides of the can are cold, it's going to have a hard time climbing that wall, right?
Yeah, and actually that happened to me today. Part of my fire fell away, so it kept coming up, but it hit that cold spot. So I'll just build like a log cabin style pencils on all 4 sides of it, and it worked for me today.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Well, we often talk about the guys from the East Coast being good at the water bowl event and lumberjack competitions. Look at that board. Places 1 through 5, all hailing from New Brunswick. Well, here we are back in Fredericton, New Brunswick for the 3rd annual Eastern Canadian Lumberjack Championships. And this is actually the 2nd time that Lumberjack's TV series, 2nd year in a row, we've been here to cover the event. And both times our ground transportation has been graciously handled by Jim Gilbert. And he is known across the country as Canada's most huggable car dealer. And he provides us with great vehicles every time we come. We are now into the last event of the competition, and it is the hot saw, one of the fan favorites. We are going to be showing a top 3 heats, and we got one of the masters of them all here, Vince Maciel from Martha's Vineyard, taking on Craig Morris.
So this is all American heat of the hot saw event. This is fast and furious. They've got big saws, and both guys have problems here getting their saws started. You typically never see this. Usually one guy throws them, but both guys here trying to get their saws going. They've got to get a time.
And Vince finally gets his saw started. Craig is still struggling. Vince, 3 cuts on the deck, but you can see that second cut almost pushed him right out of the log.
And it looks like Craig's going to take a DQ.
A couple of things there. First of all, you had a hard time starting it when not getting in the first pull. Was that your handle or was it a saw?
Yeah, you know, it was funny is I actually knocked the handle over. So it fell down, bounced off the pipe. And I went to grab my spare handle, and I looked down, and I was like, it's still wrapped on the motor. So I just had to pull it.
And then, of course, secondly, the deck is awfully slick because of our previous runs with oil all over it.
Yeah, that was scary. I've never had that ever happen again. Ever happened to me before. I should have had spike shoes on. I was just telling everybody out there, if they're going to come up on the stage here, they're going to have to wear spike shoes. That saw pushed me out of the wood. And when I was on my down cut, I actually lost my footing, and I actually leaned on the saw to stay in the wood. So I was lucky it was a good-sized piece of wood.
Thanks for
lean on it.
Thanks very much. Well, we got 2 heats to go, and the 14.69 sent by Vince Maciel of Martha's Vineyards likely going to fall. I mean, this next heat, we got Donald Lambert. He's among the best in the world, taking on Marcel Dupuis. Hasn't been in the game too long, but he's got a good saw.
And of course, they know that there's lots of room here. All they can do is put down 3 good cuts, but these guys are competitors. They're going to race. Look at Donald Lambert. He's into his 3rd cut already.
And Donald Lambert wins the heat with a 5.07. Marcel Dupuis with a 6.28. Both of them now lowering the time to beat. Looking into that piece of wood when you were beginning, did you see those knots at the beginning? Because you can see the knots right in the center right now.
Yeah, I thought the knots were gone, basically, but it was a line right inside. Outside, you cannot see anything. It was really inside.
So before you get started, I see you doing something with the sawdust. Tell me about the oil pressure in the machine that you need to do.
Well, there is in the tank, the pressure is given by the pipe. So the time you're ready to go, you want to keep that pressure on to be sure the oil go on in the chain.
So what do you do with the sawdust?
It's only to prevent the other guy to have oil underneath the feet.
You're absorbing the oil.
Yeah, exact. I think the cloth.
You need some gas guzzler, that stuff we give you in your little bag, those rags there. See, he's using the gas guzzler.
Yeah,
bag.
probably I will use it.
Yeah, okay, there, okay.
My name is Paul Woodland. I'm from Benton, New Brunswick, and I'm a logger.
My name's Scott Reed. I'm from Truro, Nova Scotia, and I work at the Dalhousie Agricultural Campus as an instructor.
Well, great job there by Donald Lambert, putting 3 in the deck in 5.07. We got Paul Woodland taking on Scott Reed. Paul's an excellent sawyer. Scott Reed is now a saw builder.
He's a saw builder. He's got one of his latest models here. He doesn't get it started, but Paul Woodland, 2 cuts down. He's going for cut number 3. 3 great cuts in 5.2.
And Donald Lambert is going to win the hot saw competition as Scott Reed struggles to the finish. A couple of things. I heard nice run there by Vince, but you had a hard time with the throttle at the beginning?
Yeah, when I come up to the wood, I kind of knocked my throttle lock off, so I had to reach for it again.
Now, you've got a stand or base in the bottom of yours, and I've seen it out there as well. You don't have a long way to go with your hands from the top of the wood to your saw, because your saw is so highly elevated.
Yes, it's quite tall. Yes, you're quick to the saw.
Yeah, and that's one of the parts of the game is getting to the saw and getting to the wood, right?
Yeah, it is. Like, you can get there with this big saw just as fast as a chainsaw, so.
Now, you're not the only one playing that game. I've seen a few others with the saws like that are really elevated with stands or legs.
Yeah, everybody does that. Like Vince's saw is built like that. So that's a DC hot saw right there.
DC?
Yeah, Dennis Cahoon.
Oh, okay. Thanks very much.
My pleasure.
Well, don't let these birds in the background keep your eyes off of the hot saw results here. Paul Woolen lays down a good cut with a 5.21, but it's Don Lambert finally pulling out a win with a 5.07 on the hot saw.
And my choice for the crown pivotal point is Scott Reed in the hot saw, where he completely buffoons it up. He was probably one of the favorites going into that event. He ends up with a 9.85. First not being able to start his saw, and then ending up by taking 4 cuts.
Well, I might be a little bit biased, but my choice for pivotal point would have been the Cumberland boys, who were barely on the scoreboard and now sit in tied for second and fourth place.
And our gas guzzler lumberjack of the day for the second year in a row here at the NBX is Marcel Dupuis with a total of 400 points. Okay, Marcel, third year in a row, you got your name on this trophy here, and you tell me it's about consistency, but just tell me a little bit about your day today.
The day went very well, as you can see, and that's what it was all about, because I didn't win all the events or anything like that, or not even close, but it was all about placing in the top 5 in most of the events, and that's what I was concentrated on, and it all worked out at the end.
Now, you told me once before that it's nice to have some pressure from below. You're getting some pressure a little bit from the Cumberland boys and some other guys around as well. That's good. It's healthy, right?
Oh, definitely. That's what it's all about. Like competing, you push each other to get better, and everybody's improving, and you got to be on your A game to do well. So everybody's getting better, and it's good. Everything's better if everybody's getting better. So.
Well, they're coming after you.
Oh, I know that for sure. Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Great job by the NBX for the third year in a row putting on the Eastern Canadian Lumberjack Championships. Good job by Ryan Cameron and his crew. Finished on time as well.
And how about that crowd? Really enthusiastic. They really got behind their hometown favorites. It was a pile of fun.
Come back again next time. We'll be in Lindsay, Ontario, when it'll be time for Lumberjacks.
Lumberjacks is sponsored by Echo, only professional grade with 5-year warranty. Crown, protect, maintain, save. Quick Dam, the new alternative to heavy sandbags. Yamaha, rev your heart.
So Ben, water boil, all kinds of competitors here. What gave you the edge here today?
I tipped my can over. I half tipped my can over.
So it almost fell over?
Yeah, I managed to catch it and burned all the hair off my arm.
So you're saying now you don't need a shave?
My eyebrow's still here?
They're still there. I noticed Nathan gave you some rocks there. What were those for?
That's to keep the heat from escaping into the ground and away from the...
Okay, perfect. Thanks. Bye.